All right, all right, all right. Happy noon. I'll change it up every day. Happy noon, Panther fans. How the hell is everybody doing? So, boy. Well, how does it feel to wake up in first place? Right? Did we finish off first place in the conference? I think we were first place in the conference, right? Because of um the tiebreaker with the Rangers, I believe. Let me see here. I got distracted. I opened up my phone to a text from my ex that I have no idea what that's all about. Let's see. We've got 74 points, and the Rangers have no, we don't even need the tiebreaker. We got the tiebreaker over Boston. How's everybody doing? Metal, hey, Esoteric Tom, how you doing, bud? Sean's here. Icy Dad Boy, how you doing, bud? And Praga's here. How's everybody doing? So, man. Hey Jackson, how we doing? Let everybody get in here for a second. PBJ. Oh no, that's RBJ. I got PBJ on on my mind. We'll just put it that way. I had a almond butter and elderberry jelly sandwich for lunch. Trade right. Nice try, Sean. Yeah, I know. Two games without a goal. Just put Lomberg in his spot. Lomberg can look to put Lundell in his spot, obviously. Right? Yeah, the mojo is good, Tom. Got hair in my mouth. Everywhere I go, there's dog hair. Yep, the mojo is good. And they're still not. Oh crap! I'm just remembering. I forgot to press upload on the podcast. That's okay because I can't upload the podcast and do this at the same time. The podcast will be about an hour late today. I recorded an episode. Normally, I try to have it uploaded so that when I'm done here, I can publish it. But I didn't press upload. It was the computer's running slow downstairs. I didn't get a chance, so the podcast will be a couple hours late. Hey, Cuban, how you doing, bud? Good to see you. Yeah, next time we play Buffalo, expect a lobby fight, right? Yeah, exactly, Tom. They have another level to get to that we have yet to see. It's for the playoffs only. They're so comfortable. I think that's the word I was looking for in the podcast today. I was using confident, but they just seem so comfortable right now. Everybody knows their roles. Once Maurice put those lines back the way that they were, basically, these are the playoff lines from last year, except Rodriguez is playing the role of Duclair. So everybody knows, obviously the top three lines, the fourth line is different, but everybody knows what everybody's going to do. And the best part is everybody's really already played with everybody this year. I think we even had a game where Stenlin and Verhage had to play together, I think, at some point. So let's see. Praga says the Pens will have to be us because Gensel got injured. Yeah, do we play? And what's the schedule like? I haven't been paying attention to the schedule as much as I normally would because I haven't been doing the podcast every day. Lightning, Senators, Hurricanes, Capitals. We got the Sabres again in 10 days. So that'll be interesting. Then the Canadians, Wings, Rangers, Devils, Flyers, Flames. So we're going to have a run of teams that are going to be desperate for points there. Obviously, Tampa, the Wings need points. The Rangers don't need so many. They ain't worried about it. Although that could be for first place in the conference, right? And then we start running out of games. What are the last? Oh, we don't have it here. I want to see what the last few games are. Rodriguez has wheels. Yeah, there's just a few things that I have issues with his game, but not enough to want to get rid of him or anything. The final games of the year: Ottawa, Columbus, Buffalo, and Toronto. So actually the final 8 of the year: Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa, Boston, Ottawa, Columbus, Buffalo, Toronto. So we played Toronto twice and Boston once in the last 8 games. So that could have a lot to do with playoff seedings, ours, Boston's, Toronto's, especially Toronto, the last game of the year. That could be a really interesting situation. That could be a situation where if we beat them, we avoid playing them. If we lose to them, we have to play them. So that's it's going to be interesting to see how those games turn out. And of course, Ottawa is always was Ottawa on there twice. Yeah, Ottawa twice. And you know how those games against Ottawa go. So those last 8 games, that's the last 4 at home. That's going to be interesting. Hey, Bubba Ruski says, I'm in class. I have no idea what you're saying, but this is more entertaining without, without the sound. Fluffy's laying right here in front of me. We just woke up from a nap. I took about a 20-minute power snooze before we came on. And I didn't get a nap this morning because I did the podcast. And when I came upstairs, I just kind of face planted into the bed for 20 minutes. Yeah, that last game is Toronto. Yep. It's at home, but that could have all sorts of playoff seeding implications. That's going to be the best thing we could do if we want to just do it right is just have the first seed wrapped up right then and there. But you never know, right? We could have the first seed wrapped up, but if Toronto drops a little bit, they could need those points to not be the last wild card to avoid playing us, right? So we're gonna have our opportunities to win the division. And here comes Kyle. Here comes Prince Kyle waking up. Huh? That must be nice. He's ignoring me. I can hear him because his room's at the end of the hall and he walks into the bathroom, which is in the room next to this one. Must be nice. What's that, 12:08? Yeah, that's nice. He's just getting out of bed, getting ready to take a shower, 12:08. Anybody else want a job where you just, you sleep till noon every day? Kyle, the lady with the new haircut. Yeah, it was actually easier cutting his hair when it was started off a little bit longer. Sometimes when it's already, when he doesn't really need the haircut, it's not as easy, right? Hey, JC, good morning, bud. How you doing? How's it going? So, yeah, Reinhardt hasn't scored in a couple games, but then look at what's happened with Lundell and Luce. Did they officially make that? Did anybody see a replay that showed why they officially made that goal Lundell's and not Kachuk's? Because the replays we saw, we all kind of thought that Lundell missed it and that the glove just went off of Comrie's, the puck went off of Comrie's glove, right? Oh, you think it hit Lundell's glove? I see. Okay. Yeah, and Reinhardt, this will be the first time he gets 40 goals, and he probably doesn't want it as an empty net goal, right? Trade Montour for Tarasenko and Brady Tkachuk. Yeah, if only it was that easy. We got to get somebody else because you got to send a lot more salary going the other way. That's for sure. What does Tarasenko make? I know he turned us down over the offseason. Ottawa thought they were going to be good. They thought they had something going. Yeah, you thought it had hit them? All right. Well, I saw it a couple times. I didn't see it, but, they didn't slow it down a whole lot. I didn't see any of the angles that would be on any of the highlights. I just saw the angle that Bally's told us last night. Tom says, allegedly we have a little over $5 million in cap space on deadline day. How did we get that? How did we get $5 million in cap? Where'd you hear that, Tom? I'm not saying it's wrong or right. I'm just saying, where did you hear that? Because I don't know how we ended up with $5 million in cap space. That don't sound right. That don't sound right at all. I'll do another little dive into it this weekend, I think. So you said Christian says the reason why they took the goal away is because they hit Lundell in the glove. Okay. All right. Tom, you saw it on one of the hockey. Yeah, I'll have to look at that. I don't think that doesn't sound accurate. I think we have 0.5 million in cap space. That sounds more logical. Is we have 0.5. There must have been a missing decimal point. I don't think we have 5 million in cap space. That's for sure. Unless they can see the future and they know somebody's going on LTIR, right? You know. No, it's funny, but I think it's true, Tom. I think that's what we have is like 500,000. Hey, Rosado, good morning. How you doing, buddy? And I don't think there's any moves to make anyway. Chucky takes goals away from players all the time. He'll be right. Yeah, it's just Kyle was very bothered by it because we rang the bells for Chucky and then they took it away. So he was concerned that was going to be bad juju. But it's still a Chucky assist. So it still counts. It still counts. If they had taken away the goal completely, then that might be bad juju. But and look, we count on the Bally's cameraman, right? We can't tell immediately. Deadline cap space still tip 5 million. So where the hell are we getting 5 million in cap space from? As per cap friendly is notoriously I wouldn't say inaccurate, but I would say they're inaccurate sometimes. I'll have to take a look at that, Tom. Where would we get 5 million in space from? They must not have taken Montour off of LTIR just yet, right? Sometimes I just wonder if we're going to ship Knight overseas to play for. I talk a lot about that in the podcast today. The podcast will be out a couple of hours later. Praga says, I don't think that includes signings. I think that includes signings that aren't done yet. There you go. Mike says 3 goals, 1 cup, 3 goals, 2 games. Is Lundell a scoring machine yet? He's getting there. He's getting there, right? He look. As soon as Maurice put those lines together the way they are, Bill Zito must have just hung up his phone. What do you do? Like, what do you do right now if you're Bill Zito? Like, I don't mean like, what do you do? I mean, like, right now you're looking at your team and you're like, I don't think we need to do anything. So, like, what does he do on a daily basis? Right? He's got to be fielding calls, right? He's got to be fielding calls from teams going, hey, I don't think you're going to be able to sign Brandon Montour. It wouldn't surprise me if we get offers that we refuse because other teams are probably looking at us like, hey, you're not going to be able to sign this guy, that guy. 58 says you sign Reinhardt if you're Zito. I believe one of 2 things, 58. Either they already have a deal in place and they're just waiting for their time at choosing to sign the contract, or Lionheart is asking for so much money that Zito was trying to figure out which player he's got to move to make it happen. Because, like I talked about on the podcast today, if Reinhardt was ready to take 8 years at $9 million, they would already just sign the contract, right? That's just my. Yes, this is the last year for the Yandel hit. Yeah, this is the last year. Here, let me see if I can go to it. Let me go to Cap Friendly. Let me bring this up. Let's see if my laptop will handle this. All right, let's see here. Just bear with me. All right, right now it's saying projected cap space is 1.25 million. What is this deadline cap space? The deadline cap space is the total sum of cap hit values that the current daily cap hit can be increased by on deadline day to remain compliant below the cap ceiling at season ends. When a team is using LTIR, it's okay. I believe what that means. I believe that what that means is that, like, when you take on, like, if we made a deal for a guy, right, and he's got a $4 million salary, well, we only are responsible for a certain prorated portion of that. So I believe what that means is that we can technically take on $5.71 million in player salaries based on what their cap hit would normally be, to where the prorated amount would keep us compliant for the rest of the regular season. Does that make any sense? I believe that basically so that we could make a trade for a guy that was making 5.719 annually, and what his prorated amount for the rest of the season would be would keep us compliant. I believe from from what I just read, I think that makes sense. That makes sense somewhat. In terms of the Yandle hit, oh, so many ads. Jesus, hold on. The Yandle hit, no. There's one more year of the Yandle hit at $1.24 million. So there's this year and there's one more year. I think this was the year that, who was the goalie? Darling? Was that the guy? I think we had $1 million on him for a long time. But there's still one more year of the Keith Yandle hit there. Scott Darling. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, I think this was the first year that we weren't paying him like $1 million. 50%. Bubba. Hey, so here's a question I got for you guys. I talked about this in the podcast, but let's just talk. Would you guys, considering we have the best road goalie in the NHL and he's not named Bubba, so would you guys be willing to give Stolarz a game or two in the playoffs on the road? What do you think? 58 says Maurice said last night post game that after the West Coast stress and losses, Seattle, Vancouver, Calgary, they had a funeral for individual stats and then turned it around since. The team mentality is real. That's interesting. A funeral for individual stats. I wonder who would have been even focused on that. I guess that was before Chucky was really scoring, so he must have been, maybe he was a little bit burnt there, right? Robert says, I think Stolarz decides a couple games to the playoffs. He plays and deserves, right? Yes. Cuban says straight night now. Yep. Coop says definitely play Stoli if Bob is weary. Sure. Yep. All right, then we agree. Bubba says, I remember being in the stands December 22 and 22, remember yelling fire Maurice, right? Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, Cliff. If we're up 3-0, or maybe 2-0. Let's put it this way. For sure. And I really don't understand why we didn't do it. It didn't cost us anyway. But the next time we have to play 7 periods, maybe we should put the backup goalie in the next game. Okay. I know we still won the series, but that might have contributed a little bit to Bubba's exhaustion come finals time. I think the next time that Bob plays 7 periods in one night, that, he deserves the next game off. Jeez. Right? Yes, Bubba, we agree about, I talk about that on the podcast a lot today, in terms of Spencer Knight. Braga says, if we get first place and play the 8 seed, it's Detroit or Toronto. I play Stoli several games, rest Bob for later stuff. Yeah. We start off at home. So if you get up 2-0 at home, right, it's kind of tricky, because if you get up 2-0 at home, maybe you want to give Stoli game 3, let Bob close it out game 4, or maybe give Stolarz a chance to close it out in game 4. But we're getting ahead of ourselves now. You know what I mean? They're not all going to be sweeps, Jaws. What are you talking about? You know, Detroit's not. None of them are going to be pushovers, right? And yeah, Bubba, the goalies all will play good with the gauntlet of defense. Hey, they're doing the goalies are doing what we need them to do. We just make those timely saves. You know what I mean? They're making those timely saves. So you got Bubba with the butt save, and then last night you got Stolarz doing snow angels on the ice. It's crazy. Yeah, that's 2 games in a row. Stolarz has played amazing, right? Christian, the Spencer Knight contract. I have a feeling that could happen. Braga says the Spencer Knight question is it's hard to find a starting goalie. Knight is young and looks like he could be the next one. Here's my take. If you have to move Spencer Knight to save one of Reinhart, Montour, Forsling, Verhaeghe, you have to do it because we're in win the cup right now mode this year and next year especially. These are the 2 years where if at any point you look back on the Panthers history, we either won the cup or kind of should have won the cup in these 2 seasons, at least one of them. So I would not want to hurt those chances to keep Spencer Knight because of what he might be in 3 years. Because remember, we still got Bubba this year and 2 more years. You know what I mean? So, and the other thing is, Knight deserves a chance to play. He deserves a chance to play, right? I mean, and this goes all the way back. So when Talon drafted him, and again, I talk about this on the podcast today. It's funny that it ended up coming up here again today, but I have massive empathy and sympathy for Spencer Knight's state of mind because you work all your way to get to that point where you're a prime goalie prospect. You get drafted and you're immediately blocked by a $10 million guy. How many young goaltenders get immediately blocked by a $10 million guy? It don't happen. I can't imagine that it's ever happened. Not in that kind of way. So, you know, Spencer Knight has known that it kind of doesn't matter how hard he works and how good he does. He's not getting the job. And even in the times when he does, he had come in and played well. Oh, Bubba's ready. All right, Spencer, get out, get back, get back. You're not, it's not your job yet. And I don't care who you are, that's going to wear on you emotionally. You know what I mean? So the best thing for him might just be to send him somewhere where a team is like, we're going to be good in 2 or 3 years. Spencer, we're going to put you out there. It's your net. You're going to work through your mistakes and just learn how to be an NHL goalie. That's my opinion anyway. Right, Levi became a starter before Knight. Yeah. Battle of Florida coming tomorrow, Bucks Rays. That's the truth. That's the truth. I'm sure the Lightning would be the team that would love to end our road game win streak. They're going to be coming, guys, okay? Tampa Bay needs those points, right? And we're kind of we just got first place. Don't forget, last time we got first place, we started losing games again, right? Cliff wants to know, what former Panther do I think would be an amazing fit on this current team, and who would he replace? Jeez. I can't say Owen Tippett, right? I can't. I'm not allowed to say Owen Tippett, right? Okay, so I won't use Tippett as an example because I'll get killed. So I'll have to come up. Praga says Mason Marchment would be a great third line fit, but who's he going to replace? What do you want to have? Luster-Ryan and Lundell Marchment? Right? But remember, he's also got to talk about, I thought about that Marchessault. I thought about that medal with Marchessault, but who are you taking off the ice? The only guy you'd really want to take off the ice if you're going to bring in somebody, would you want Huberdeau instead of Cousins? Would you want Huberdeau instead of Cousins? There's a question. Nah, not that. No Dadenoff, Rosado. Tom says no. Here come the nose. Ekblad, no. He pouts too much. All right. I can't think because the premise of it is I have to replace somebody. Right. You're not sure that would be the role. Would we play? Bubba says Kulikov with Stahl. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna pick. I would replace Steven Lorentz with Eric Stahl. That's what I would do. I would replace Steven Lorentz with Eric Stahl. Yeah. Bucks Rays wants to know if you think the Bolts and Panthers can make a trade this year. Probably not, right? I don't think they're fixing to help us. I don't think we're fixing to help them. There's too much of a possibility of us meeting in the playoffs in the first or second round. Praga says replace Gadjevich with Marchment. Now we just sound like we're getting greedy. We kind of sound greedy now, right? Mike. Yeah, it was a good question. It was a good question. Yeah. I can't think anybody that I'd want to replace that poorly, that much. And then when you think about, like Lawson Krause, but who are you going to move? I don't want to take Ryan Lomberg off the ice. I can't think anybody I'd really want to take off the ice. I don't even know if I would want to do Duclair for Rodriguez. I don't even think I'd want to do that. Right? Yeah. No, Rosado. Nice try. Meadow says everyone for Tippett, a one-player roster, right? Yeah, Marchment, Bennett, Kachuk would be scary. I'll agree with you. I agree with you there, Bubba. Yep. Well, that was not the line. Oh, there's a good one. Praga says Hornquist, Lomberg, Luster-Ryan, and that was a fourth line, right? Yep. Rosado likes Alex Wenberg. Craig says Stahl had a concussion issue last year. He's one hit away from never playing again. Lorentz is younger and stronger. I haven't been impressed with Lorentz. I haven't been all that impressed with Lorentz. And I'm just talking about like for a playoff run. Look, it's game 6 against Boston. If Stedlin was to be hurt, I'd rather have last year's version of Eric Stahl on the ice than this year's version of Steven Lorentz. We'll put it that way. We'll frame it that way. No, I don't think the Lightning will trade with the Panthers. When's the last time the Lightning and the Panthers ever made a trade? Like of any kind of note at all? Because we stole Verhaeghe from you guys, right? I can't imagine either one of those two teams helping each other out. No, you didn't, Rosado. No, you didn't. I know you're just trying to get me. Who the hell takes a lot? No, Lundell's not going anywhere. Oh, jeez, almost just knocked over my whole laptop. Lundell's not going anywhere. He's got. I mean, forget about the potential part. He's going to be on too cheap of a deal. He's too good at too cheap of a deal, right? Yeah, Cooch is on fire right now. Yeah, Cooch is going to do that. Cooch is going to do that. It's going to be that time of year for sure. Yeah, Praga, we trade with Western Conference teams. You don't want to play against guys with insider information. That's for sure. No, I don't know. I mean, right now, if somebody gave me $100 and place to bet, I'm betting that. The only things I'm interested in, and it's really, I don't care if we get it or not. But honestly, if you want to give me a better 13th forward than Lorentz, if you want to get a veteran third goaltender, or if you want to do a little bit better than Josh Mahura as your 7 or 8D, that's it. That's it. In terms of the guys that are starting, I have no interest in changing anything. Yeah, Praga, I agree there. Trade Lundell at night for Kucherov? That ain't never. Click. That's all you're going to get with that answer, right? Rosado is just desperate for Mike Hoffman. We're not getting Mike Hoffman, man. We don't need him. We don't need Mike Hoffman. Yep, exactly, Bubba. Exactly, Bubba. Yeah, I like Tom's idea. Let's just fleece the Flames again. Different GM this time, right? Spencer Knight for 2 first-rounders. I don't know. I don't know if we'd get that much with that contract that he got, that he signed. That's going to hurt his trade value, right? And look, let's face it, in the AHL, he's got an .897 save percentage. So he's not exactly tearing it up. My opinion with Spencer Knight needs to be on a team like Montreal, right? I'm not saying to trade him to Montreal, but a team that is going to be good in a few years, and a team that they can just give the net to. But I think Montreal's already got a guy. But that's my point there, is that he needs an opportunity to just, here's the net, man. The Bolts got $9 million in cap space before the deadline. I'm sure they're going to make a move. Praga says he wouldn't mind seeing Gudis again. I don't know. Julian says, I know you spoke about this minutes ago, but I would add Markstrom, the Calgary goalie, to rotate Bob. I think Stolarz has been playing too good. Stolarz has just been playing really, really good. I think chemistry-wise, team chemistry-wise, I think at this point, if you bring in a guy, it's going to be a third goalie, if you're going to do that at all. The team may not want to do that. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now, Tom. And look, we didn't make any moves last year, right? We didn't make any moves last year. Bubba says we should be sellers. This I got to hear. That's a good question, Praga. Are we going to be able to re-sign Stolarz? Because all we do is we did it with Drieger, and then we did it with Lyon, and now we're doing it with Stolarz. We get these goalies in who were kind of nobody before they get here, and they're our backup, and they do so well, and then they go elsewhere and get paid. Now, I know it hasn't worked out for Drieger, but it looks like it's going to work out for Alex Lyon pretty good. Bonehead, do I think tomorrow's game against Tampa, it'll be a measuring stick game? No. Tomorrow against Tampa is like if we had tomorrow against Tampa is game 4 against the Leafs last year. They have to have the game, and we don't really need the game. So it's at Tampa. We're in first place. There ain't no danger of us losing second place. And Tampa is desperate for points. So I just don't think that you can use that as a measuring game unless our guys decide, hey, we want to make this a playoff game. You know what I mean? Unless our guys decide that. But if we just kind of go out there and play at the 80% pace, we're probably going to lose that game because Tampa Bay is going to be desperate for points. Lockwood for Aiden Hill. I'm in. I forgot about Lockwood. That's right. He's still in the concussion protocol, right? Right? Sunshine says Zito's going to bring in Knight at some point. I don't know, man. I don't know. Trade Lundell for Ellie McPherson. Oh, man. Yeah, you probably see some fights tomorrow for sure, right? Yep. So you guys think Spencer Knight is going to come up at some point? I mean, he might bring him up. Well, look, he's going to bring him up if we don't acquire a third goalie. He's going to bring him up for the playoffs, and he'll be there. But I don't think when you look at those last 8 games, right, I don't really see a spot where you're going to put Spencer Knight in there. Maybe one of the games against Montreal or Buffalo, right? I guess it's going to depend on where we're at. how bad do they want to fight for first place? Because Boston is in one of those last final games. So it just depends, how bad do we want first place? Do we want to kind of pick up, or do we kind of want to pick our playoff opponent? We're going to have an opportunity to have some kind of effect on the playoff seedings for sure. Yeah, Craig Lomberg was thinking about doing it yesterday, but then they got kicked out of the game. Prague says night comes up, maybe they get showcased at the end of the season when there's no risk of finishing out the playoffs. I mean, maybe, but like I said, Praga, the end of the schedule in the last 8 games, we play Toronto twice, we play Boston once, and we play Ottawa twice. So not putting them in against Ottawa because how those games usually go. Right. Yeah. Showcase them for a trade. I mean, maybe. What if it goes poorly? Right. You got to be sure that he's going to play well. Right. I mean, think of it this way, Praga. If you got Bob and Stolarz tearing it up at, 2.25 and 9.15, and then Knight comes in and gives up 4 and has an 8.97, it's not good showcase. It could backfire, right? Yeah, let Vancouver have the President's Trophy. Yes, I agree there. What? Who's saying Uyghur? How are we talking about Uyghur? Where we get the Uyghur? Looking at yeah, Tampa is looking at Uyghur, right? Is that what they're doing? Yeah, we'll play against Uyghur. Sure. I'd love for our offense to be in transition after a Uyghur turnover. Yeah. Go ahead, guys. Pick them up. Pay for Mackenzie Weegar because you're going to have to pay him too. Right? Brock says you have to put it on Spencer Jaws. It's your career, kid. I mean, I half of me agrees with you. I understand. In theory, you're not wrong. But giving the kid one game at the end of the year when who knows how our team's going to be playing, are we going to be resting guys? I don't know. It just could backfire. Geez, right? Bubba says, I really wonder how good a Forsling Makar pairing would be. That would not be fair. That would not be fair, I don't think. Dana says, no, you go with Bubba until he throws a bad game or two. You talking about the playoffs, or you talking about putting in Spencer Knight at the end of the year? Cliff says, I think we all remember the playoff game where we missed an assignment. We lost the 3.8 seconds. 3.8 seconds. Yep. John Verhaeghe's contract. I'm glad you asked. I still have that pulled up. Verhaeghe is signed for this year and next year. So, like I've said, the discussion that we are having this year about Reinhart, Forsling, and Montour, next year we have to have that discussion around Bennett, Verhaeghe, and Ekblad. Because next year, those 3 guys are the 3 guys that are going to be needing contracts. So it's this year and next year. That's the cup window. Because that's why the Spencer Knight talk comes up so much, because moving Spencer Knight is one way that we can clear up space to try to keep everybody together. Yeah, exactly, Praga. You mean like when we played Jonas Johansson, who bombed against Montreal? Yeah, it's exactly what I'm talking about, Praga. God help, can you imagine poor Spencer? We put him in for that, right? Even if it's just one bad period. That would be my concern. That would be my concern. You know what I mean? So the money on Bob's contract is where's Bubba? Bubba, we got this year and then 2 more years. It's all $10 million each. And Stolarz is 30. I thought he was like 27 or 28 or something. But Stolarz is 30. And then Bob's modified no move clause moves in next season. So, yeah, next year, the next 2 years is his modified no move clause. So there's that. So technically, if we wanted to try to move him, but he ain't going anywhere. Yeah, Stolarz is, I think it's 1.1. Let me see. Stolarz is 1.1. Yeah, right. But if he continues to play like this, we're going to have to pay him too. So you're going to have to make a decision. You're going to have to make a decision between Stolarz and Spencer Knight during this offseason. That's happening, right? So you either are making the decision that you're bringing up Spencer Knight again and he's going to be the guy, or you're going to pay Stolarz a little bit extra money and move on from Spencer Knight. Christian says, no, he's already making more than that, Christian, right? Stolarz is already making 1.1, and with a year like this, you got to figure he'd be at least, you got to at least give him $2 million, right? Hey, Dustin, how you doing, bud? Yeah, Robert, Stolarz is at 926 with a 1.97. You cannot ask for a better backup play. No, you can't. Right? Hey, Chad, do I think Maurice can win Coach of the Year? That's a really good question. Here's what I'll say about that. I'm still stuck on wondering how in the hell Bill Zito didn't win GM of the Year last year. It's a Florida thing. I hope he can do it. I hope. I find it interesting that, it's almost like a slight to Bill Zito. Like, you don't give Bill Zito the GM of the Year, but if you give Maurice Coach of the Year, that kind of is almost like making it sound like Maurice is doing magic with a less than roster. And to be honest, as much as I love Maurice, I think the opposite is true. Not the opposite, but Bill Zito has created as close to as perfect of a roster as you can create, considering he got handed Bobrovsky's contract. I can't imagine that any GM could have done any better than Bill Zito has, considering the situation he walked into. Mike says, Drieger and Lyon were really good goalies while they were here. Stolarz is really good now that he's here. Can we just make anyone really good? That opens the door to a lot of options. That's 3 times now. Yeah, I talk about that on the podcast today, Mike. That's 3 times now that's happened, right? But there's the one guy we couldn't fix was Jonas Johansson. We couldn't fix him. We couldn't turn him good. But let's see. Yeah, John says it must be the Panthers' goalie atmosphere. Lions, Stolarz, hopefully Knight. The weather don't hurt, right? Praga is afraid that some other team is going to throw big money at Zito. We can handle it. They're not going to lose Zito. Viola is not going to lose Bill Zito over money. He ain't that kind of man. I don't think that's going to happen. Why is this team so damn good on the road? It might just be less distractions. You know what I mean? It might just be less distractions. You're at home in Florida. You can leave the rink in your flip-flops and you can go play PlayStation. You can go to the beach and go to the golf, and you can kind of, partially that's good. There's a balance, but on the road, they just must have no choice but to just focus in on the hockey aspect of things a little bit more. Mike, I don't think Zito would leave for money. For money, look at how many GMs you go to teams and the owners are either meddling or won't pay. You know what I mean? Everything that Bill Zito has wanted, they've gotten. They opened up a training facility. Bill Zito opened up the goalie excellence department. whatever he's wanted, he's gotten. So I can't imagine why would he ever want to leave? You know what I mean? 58 says they put the backup goalie in the cloning machine, right? Yeah. Brock says, look at what Zito did. Hold on a second. I lost it. Brock says, look what Zito did with the D this year. We were supposed to be. Yeah. Look, those injuries. It's funny. You guys are all bringing up subjects I already talked about on the podcast today. But it turned out to be to our benefit that Ekblad and Montour had those injuries, because I think we would have picked up Mikkola anyway to replace Gudis, but certainly we would have not gone after OEL if Ekblad and Montour were healthy, and we probably don't go get Kulikov either, right? So it's now been to our benefit that those guys are back. And I don't think Maurice, from the sounds of what Maurice was talking about before the season started, I don't think that they anticipated Kulikov playing this well, because the way Maurice couched it was, I think the expectation was Mahura was going to be the guy that would stay in the lineup and Kulikov was going to be 70, but that ain't the way it's worked out. John, if I was Panthers coach, the playoffs started tomorrow and in 4 lines, the team from last night, the team from the last 3 games, that's it. That's the team. It's not even a thought for me. We beat the Leafs in Carolina with Cousins on the second line. It didn't work with Lundell and Luostarinen because that's not the kind of player that line needs. But it's working now. It's just working all the way around now. Okay, Reginald. Thanks for joining us. Okay, Reginald. Excuse me. With the we actually Bucks Rays, we made Corey Perry a contract offer and he turned us down. He didn't want to come here. So there's that. Dustin says, when's Lockwood's next appearance? I don't know if Lockwood is still in concussion protocol, but there's nobody getting in the lineup until somebody gets hurt, in my opinion. We didn't even see Mahura get put in for Kulikov from the back-to-back, right? Tom, I heard differently. I was told differently that he had a couple of offers. It was somebody showed me, it was one of the NHL media guys had said it. That's okay, Reginald. I kind of figured that. I hadn't seen your name around here, so that's okay. We're cool around here either way, man. You know what I mean? I didn't get 7,000 subscribers by hating on fans of other teams, so it's all cool either way, right? Yeah, the face-off, the power play unit. We're just in good shape all the way around. And Bubba says we need Erica Branson. We don't need anybody. We don't need anybody. We're good to go. Oh, is he? Hold on a second. Hold on. I think you're going again. Is he running? No, he's just snoring. He was running, but he's just snoring now. His front paws were going. Damn it. He was going good. Oh well. I didn't get it in time. Damn it. All right. Okay. Always got to be careful because these webcams, and they barely hang on the edge of your laptop, and then boop, they do a suicide dance. Oh, I see what you're saying, Tom. Well, maybe that's the case, right? Right? Yeah, wait till Trey comes on and says Christian says you think the best pickup was Rodriguez. I don't know. I'm not saying he's been bad, but to me the best pickup has been Mikkola, because, well, you know what's funny? Because the best two pickups have been Mikola and Rodriguez, and Zito signed them for long term. Now, if we can get OEL signed for 2 or 3 years, that's another guy. That's another guy. I mean, I know I've talked about it, but I'm just going to give a list of names. All right. Guys that are currently on the ice for our team every night that need contracts before next year. Reinhart, Cousins, Stenlin, Lundell, Gadjevich, Lomberg, Montour, Forsling, Larson, Kulikov, Mahura, and Stolarz. Every single one of those names I just gave you needs a contract for next season. And we haven't signed one. That's why I'm like, can we sign somebody? Extend Lomberg. I don't care who it is. Just give me one contract. Some sign a life bill that somebody's going to be. That's why I kind of freak out about it, because I'm just like, nobody, not one. Like, we haven't just given Lomberg his 3 years and $1 million, right? We're cooked. Yeah, the Nashville power play the other day was 0 for 21. Sound familiar, Brunette? Oh my God. Are they at it again? Right? No, we got this year and next year, Bubba. This year and next year. Don says last year Alex Line was magic at the end of the year, and Bob had the rest he needed for that incredible run. Now, Bob, it's helping to see Stolarz playing on the playoffs. Yeah, we talked about that at the beginning of the show, buddy. Yeah. A lot of people agreed that, especially on the road. Hey, Cuban, thank you, Cuban. He says, we will trade night. Somebody's got to go. Right? And that's all I talk about it for, is because I'm just like, I just want to know who's going. You know what I mean? I just want to know who's going. Thank you, Cuban. Thank you again, brother. That's all. Because it's a lot of names, Cliff says worst Zito decision, best Talon decision. Zito's worst decision was Tippett and a first for Claude Giroux. I think even if you're including hindsight, I think that's easily his worst decision. The best Dale Talon decision, that's tough. That is a tough one. Because he made some picks. He made a couple of picks that we didn't get to develop, that we kind of considered mistakes, right? But who was the other kid? Progress is Zito's worst for Toronto for nothing. Man, we were in a bind there. It sucks how that all went down. We needed the space, right? We needed the cap space because they wanted to go after Giroux and Sherratt, and then Ekblad gets hurt, and we wouldn't have had to trade for Toronto because we wouldn't have needed the space. So yeah. Boulevard just said, I heard that Kadarius Toney's a perfect fit for the. Yeah, no. Bubba says his best decision was giving him $10 million a year. For Toronto for nothing. But Dale Talon's best move. I mean, he made a lot of the draft picks, obviously. Hey, wait a minute. Didn't Talon draft Uyghur? Talon was a Uyghur draft pick, right? I'll give him credit for that. I'll give him credit for that, because I think he was like a 6th or 7th round pick, and he was a major piece in us getting Kachuk. That's asset management, right? So I'll give him credit for Uyghur, considering what we turned that pick into, right? Talon, in hindsight, wasn't as bad as we gave him grief for, in terms of drafting, but in terms of asset management, he was horrible. Mike says Talon's best move was when he moved from Florida. Yeah, Praga. Uyghur was the last rounder. So Cuban, blunt, white boy, or pipe. I like the little pipes. I like the little pipes. Yeah. John says it's hard to keep everybody, but who do we see going? Who could possibly be replaced because of the current nucleus of this team? The thing that I find, we talk about Reinhardt, Forsling, Montour, all of that. But I want to re-sign OEL. I don't know if we're going to re-sign Kulikov because he's already making $1 million. Mahura has not looked good this year. He's an RFA, so that's going to be interesting. The guys that I am interested to see also how it all shakes out. We have Lockwood signed for next year, but the entire fourth line, Lomberg, Gadjevich, Stenlin, need contracts. Now, Gadjevich is an RFA. He's only 25, so he's staying. And then, of course, there's Nick Cousins needs a contract as well. So I think out of that group of guys, it's going to be, are we going to have the money to, give everybody a little bit of a bump up? You know what I mean? That's a whole other angle to it, and with Mahura not playing all that well, and we lost John Ludwig. I hate that we lost him because he would have been, he was at least the guy that could have come up and been a bottom pair guy if we needed. So the cupboard's a little bit more bare there in terms of young players on defense. But like we've been saying this year and next year, I mean, we're just in win now mode. We're absolutely in the win the cup right now mode. So, Praga, Gadjevich will stay. Stenlin, again, he might cost us a little bit more money. We gave these guys the 1-year deals because we didn't have enough space to give them more because we had to add extra players because of the Ekblad and Montour injuries, right? So some of these guys might be willing to stay. You gave me a chance, so I'll stay. And then, we might have to go out and Zito might have to reboot some of the magic. You know what I mean? If we lose the Stenlin, if we lose the Stolarz, if we lose some of these guys, he might just have to go out and get new guys that are just the same. So I think either way, we're going to be good, but you could see a little bit more turnover than we're used to. You know what I mean? So, Praga, let's bribe Benton and cap space involved. I agree. I thought about that 58 with Barkov being, but I mean, he could have had McKinnon, right? Right. That was the whole choice there. So, all right, everybody, my voice is gone because I did the podcast earlier today too. So I'm shot. I still got to get out to get to the grocery store. It's Friday and everything like that. So I'm going to go. Appreciate all the support. Thank you all. Yeah, I know. He heard me. He heard me say go, and he popped his head right up. So we're going. Esoteric. He went 1. Well, who did he take? What was the question then? Was it that we didn't move up or did we move down? I had to remember. I can't remember that far back. And third was Druin. Right. Yeah, but there was I remember there being like controversy, like between whether we should take maybe they was talking about we should move up to take McKinnon or get Barkov. I'm happy the way it turned out. We'll put it that way. Yeah. We'll be here Sunday at noon. I'll be here. And then Colin and I will be streaming tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon. Game starts at 5, I think. So we'll be there at 4:30. So that's that. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you all for joining us. This is fun. Thank you for all the super chats and everything. And podcast will be out about 2. I just got to upload it, but it's outside with the dogs, so those take forever to upload. So the podcast will be out at 2. And then just any one of the other 4 channels might get content today. You never know which one it is. It's Friday. So Friday is my day where I just put the channels in a Yahtzee cup and whichever one comes up. But I already did this channel, so we're good. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Oh, Seth Jones. That's the one, Tom. Yeah, that's the name. That's the one. We didn't take. Thank you. That's what I was thinking about. See, between the two of us, we got enough brain cells to remember. Yep. All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.